What's up, guys? Alex here, Elevated Lifestyle Lab. Wanted to hop on with you guys today, share some exciting news with you. We are going to be releasing a new podcast series every Monday starting today. It's called Getting Off the Carousel of Life. Now, this is a separate podcast from my original Elevated Lifestyle Lab podcast, which talks about elevating your life, and it's normally with me and a guest or me just doing solo-sodes. This is a new podcast with two new hosts, including myself, which would be the third. It's hosted by me, my friend Paul, and my friend Jimmy. We're not sure if it's going to be a limited series or if we're going to continue on, but we have about 10 episodes in the bank. We discussed all the different topics, whether it's work-life balance, spirituality, religion, nutrition, morning routine, self-awareness, making goals, and we just dive into all these different topics. We talk about our own experiences with all these. We're by far no professionals with any of these topics, but we would like to share our experiences with what and how we've dealt with them. Hoping it'll give you guys some nuggets on maybe what you can do to improve these different areas of your life. So we hope you guys enjoy. The first episode's coming up. Stay tuned. Every Monday we're going to be releasing it every Monday afternoon. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Share with all your friends if you feel like they could take some advice on any of these topics. And if you guys would like to hear us talk about any other topics, feel free to send us a message or comment below, and we will be happy to incorporate that in one of our episodes. This episode is also sponsored by us, Elevated Lifestyle Lab. We are giving you guys a 15% discount site-wide on any of our supplements. We are a brand new supplement company. All of our products have been third-party tested. It's manufactured in FDA-approved facilities, and it's all legit shit, guys. So if you want 50% off of site-wide, go to elevatedlifestylelab.com. Enter promo code runnersformiracles, and that's going to get your guys discount for anything site-wide, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy. See you later. All right, guys, welcome. We are finally doing our first episode of a new podcast here. I got my boys Jimmy and Paul here. What's up, guys?
Hola. How's it going?
So we have been talking about this for like at least 6 or 7 months, and we have finally made time and got it together. We are starting a new podcast together. It's called Getting Off the Carousel of Life. Really stoked about it because I feel like we've kind of been on the carousel of avoiding this podcast for like the last 6 or 7 months.
But I didn't have my quarter.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited we finally got together. I finally got an office so we can kind of host this podcast out of here, so I'm super excited about it. So we're going to do kind of short episodes. As you know, a lot of people are used to a little bit longer, in-depth episodes. Mostly it's going to be us three on here telling our life experience and our strategies to get through life on a day-to-day thing. Getting Off the Carousel of Life is the name of the podcast because we feel like, actually the last time we met up, we had a good conversation about how kind of all three of us were stuck on some portion of it, or other people were, and we were kind of sharing some ideas of how we thought we could help of people getting off of this. So I figured this first episode we could just do call it Get to Know the Host, and we can kind of just give a quick background of who we are and move forward from that from the next episode. So I guess I'll start. My name is Alex Wyrick. I am the owner of Elevated Lifestyle Lab. I also host another podcast called Elevated Lifestyle Lab Podcast. And other than that, I have a supplement company. That's what Elevated Lifestyle Lab is tied back to. And I'm trying to bring everything to the table that I have learned over the last like 10 or 15 years to hopefully help some other people get off this thing that we call getting off the carousel of life. So who are you over there?
Nice. Well done. So I'm Paul Vetter. I was stuck on the carousel of life about 5 years ago and kind of dove headfirst into the personal development world. And we'll obviously get into that in more episodes. But I actually, I've been in the IT industry for 15 years or so and own a IT company, IT consulting company based out of West Palm. And we're just about 6 years in and have 15 people total. So, you know, running a business, entrepreneur, diving into the personal development world, just trying to better myself, better my family. Just kind of, I want more than what I grew up even being encouraged to chase after or pursue. So just trying to level up in almost every way possible.
Sweet.
Before I leave this earth.
Awesome. So Jim King. So I have an insurance company I'm a partner at, and I also have a construction company and a couple other things I have on the side. Yeah, just always looking for just that cash revenue. Just trying to make sure that not only am I doing what's right in the community, but also making sure that make a decent wage at that. So,
Amen.
Yeah. So I am a husband, a father, and just any time I can give back, I just love to bring value at any moment I'm able.
Yeah, man. I think I appreciate you guys coming. And actually, I proposed this to you guys the last time we did. You guys did an episode with me on my other podcast, and I kind of threw this together and pitched you on like, let's do it, because I feel like we get together and we really vibe and we really put out some good ideas, and I feel like a lot of people could benefit from this. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to let's rock out, man. Let's.
It was a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing here is that I think even through Elevated, like all we're doing is like sharing our experience, and I think that the more people, and I think the word transparency is overused, but that's kind of what it evolved into, is like people being transparent about their story, what they're going through, gives hope to other people that are maybe going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the reality. Like, we're not here to go, oh, we've made it, because I ain't nowhere near close to where I want to be in life. So.
And the thing too about so there are terms, they're overused.
Yeah.
It's because like they mean something. So
Mm-hmm.
transparent, it does still have value. Like
Yeah.
it does mean something. And I agree with you 100%, because you look back, before Tony Robbins, I mean, I would talk to business owners and they would close book. They really didn't want to share what they were doing, how they were doing, when they were doing. Nowadays, everyone realized, look, I'll give you everything. You're not going to probably do it. But
Yeah.
for those few people who in that time hear that message and they want to take it and they want to move on it, it's great that everyone's now putting that stuff out there.
Yeah, the people are it's like choosing to be ignorant if you can't find it online, because you can find like every angle you want online as far as getting help in whichever area you feel like. So it's and like you said, like getting back to just like it's not really about us preaching to you guys as far as like how to be successful in this carousel of life that we talk about, but it's really just to share our experience on how we get stuck in it on ourselves and what we kind of try to do to bounce back from it, and being kind of transparent about that. Because it's funny, because like even on my other podcast, I sometimes hesitate, like, oh, people don't really want to hear about this or that, or my big runs. People don't want to hear about me running for 6 days, blah 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 blah. But in reality, it's like you get those feedback from people, and it's like, man, it's like just do that more of that, just do more of that.
We underestimate. I wanted to use the word ignorance, but I mean that's kind of has a negative connotation. But
Sure.
like whether it's willful ignorance or not, but like we just underestimate the value of connecting with people in that way. And it's so funny, like you were saying, like you can look up anything on the internet. Sometimes people ask me questions, like in my personal life, they'll text me. I'm like, literally, just take what you asked me and put it in Google, please. we have a saying at my workplace. It's FITFO. So. That stands for figure it the fuck out. So sometimes you have to do that. Like you have to just figure it out. And, me being a business owner now, I found myself in that position. Like I don't have anybody to necessarily go to. Like I don't have a boss to like, hey, I can't figure this thing out. Like I literally have to FITFO it. Like there is nobody above me technically. Yeah. So, you're kind of on your own. But I think that's what separates, people that choose that lifestyle, entrepreneurship, and kind of chase that, and are able to, actually do those things. Because that's a different story. But that's so true.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to go through and get everybody's kind of opinions, just so people kind of know what this podcast is about. Getting off the carousel of life, the name of it. So we'll go through and kind of just get your guys' opinion on what, explain kind of how we feel, what that is, and then that'll kind of lay out the episodes to come. So Jimbo, tell us what you think that is.
Well, I think that everyone's had someone in their life where that person goes and gets off the grid. Like they move to Hawaii, or they go to Colorado, and they say, you know what, I'm not going to confine with what this social contract tells me I need to be, or who I should, or how I should act. And I think that we need to be reminded every now and then, as we're going through our day-to-day lives, that we can get caught up in going to work same time, coming home same time, treating our spouse, treating our neighbor, treating our people around us the same way. And every now and then you need to take a break and say, wait, like that's a human. Okay, that's a team member on, but that's their own life on this planet. Should I really just react that way and just slow down, understand that, hey, we are very, we're habitual creatures. That's, a given. But we also are thinkers. We're self-aware, and we need to, from time to time, say, slow down. Maybe I'm gonna make a left today instead of make a right to go to work. Maybe I'm gonna go a different route. Maybe I'm gonna go by the beach as the sun's coming up, and just enjoy what this planet is and what my life is. So for me, it's more of a reminder from time to time that I'm very lucky. I'm very happy with my life, and when people say, because we live in South Florida, it's an amazing area. People are like, do you ever get, does it ever get old? I'm like, if you let it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your marriage can, your life can, your job can, your career, that can all, if you allow it, can get stale. It's your job to, from time to time, to freshen it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really boiled down to two words: is reactive versus proactive. So I've lived my life reacting to situations and things around me, and even to the degree that I thought, like, before I kind of dove into the personal development world, in my marriage, and that's kind of, we'll get into my story later, but my marriage and my personal life, like, I was reacting to life. I kind of just took it as it was coming at me. But I used to think, and to look back at it now, it kind of blows my mind that I used to think that I was getting better, but until I was actually like proactive, like physically putting myself into situations to make myself better, or do hard things, or do things like that. Until I brought myself out of that, that's kind of how this started. Was like, until I got off the carousel, I didn't realize I was on the carousel.
Yeah.
And that's actually the scary part for me, because I look around at people and I see them on this carousel of life, and they're like, I'm going round and round and this is making me sick. And I'm like, get off the carousel then. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just keep going around and around.
Yeah.
I'm like, but take a step off.
But sometimes you jump and you
Yeah.
can get hurt.
Yes.
That's okay. You
Yes.
have to.
Yeah.
You still got to jump off. You
Yeah.
still got to jump. You still got to take action.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes it will hurt, but that's okay. That's
Yeah.
where growth comes.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great explanation from both of you guys. For me, it's obviously about the same, just different verbiage. But I feel like I've kind of, looking back after we kind of discussed the meaning of this 6 months ago, there's so many areas of my life that I've been on the carousel of life, and kind of like the frightening thing, or the thing that makes me more aware of it even now that I'm on it, is being on it, like I was explaining to you guys before we started. That there's like a good carousel also with the bad carousel, but I believe the good can run out and turn into bad, meaning, I could feel like I've worked out and have a workout routine, but then, if you're not doing more or you're not changing it up, you're going to get stale. And I go through these phases where I get comfortable with either whether it's working out or my diet, eating the right foods, and then kind of like, oh, I'm going to cheat for a little bit.
Wait, are you saying that eating chicken and broccoli all the time gets old?
That's the carousel.
So old.
I was sold a bill of goods, man. Like,
So I mean, and that's what it is. It's like I've seen myself so many times on this, and it's in all aspects of life. Whether it's my marriage, where it's like, you come home at the same time and you eat dinner at the same time and you go to bed at the same time and give a kiss good night, and it's just like the same kind of thing. And then you can, if you're self-aware of this, you're gonna see like, okay, like we really haven't shared anything about our day or how the kids are doing. And same even with my kids. They're growing up. I have a 3 and a 6, and the first few years is kind of like, just kind of be around with them. But as my son's growing older, it's like you have to start like growing and doing stuff with him and teaching him, and sports and school starting and like all this stuff. But it's like, if you're stuck on this carousel of just like, you get home from work and you take a shower and you do the same thing and you're just like, let's draw a picture and let's go to bed, let's read a book. It's like, oh man, I'm on this fucking carousel again. So that's kind of how I relate to it, is like I look at it as good and bad, because I feel like it can benefit you if you get on it on a good path, but you always have to be aware, like you have to continuously grow and put forth the effort to do more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my opinion on it.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And then, from there, as far as, trying to even be aware of like getting off of it, it's funny because like you're saying, like you're trying to tell people like just get off, man, just get off. And that's kind of the thing, is like, there's so many people that, I should say, there's not so many people that think similar into like self-development, self-awareness. The people that we kind of follow in the conversations we have, we always talk like it's kind of hard to have these conversations out of this setting.
Yeah.
If you're like run across like an old friend, they're like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, dude, this carousel, man, it is fucking me up. And you like go into your whole life thing. They're like, whoa.
Yeah,
No, I just wanted like, yes.
I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so interesting to and I talk to a lot of people And there's so many that are saying, like you were saying, it's just like, they're like, no, I don't have time for that. That's impossible. I can't do that. No, that's too hard. No, I don't have enough money. And it's just like, oh man, you're stuck in the wrong paradigm. Like it's just, you gotta like just switch over. And that's my new favorite word too, is paradigm. I've been saying that for like 2 years. I love it. But
That's
it's like,
no, it's true.
You said self-awareness, which that's my new favorite word.
Yeah. You talk to people like because we all do like fitness challenges and things like that, 75 hard, rucking, 6-day races. And like, it was funny because I said the same thing to you earlier describing this ruck race. I'm like, oh, I could never do that. But that's like, that's in the back of my mind, which I told you afterwards, I definitely want to do that. But like,
just by saying no, it's like, okay, I got to do it.
I have to do that. So, because you have something to prove to yourself. And like Andy Frisella, for those that follow him, he's a CEO of First Form supplement company. And he's got an awesome podcast, Real AF, but the whole thing around like 75 hard and what he's kind of proposing is like, do hard shit so you can do hard shit. Like, you purposefully put yourself into hard situations, so you literally build a callus, a mental callus, a physical callus, and that's the point, because life sucks, life is hard, so you need to callus yourself to life that's going to come at you, or you're not going to be able to handle it. Period. Like, that's it.
I'm always curious because it's like, like we've kind of got it because maybe we've went through enough pain to kind of like make an adjustment. But I've always wondered what it is for other people that just never hit that point. They're just like, no, I can't change. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's just like, I'm curious because looking back, it's like I whether it was physical pain as far as just pursuing endurance sports or stuff like that, going through just childhood different things. It's like I don't know where it switched for me to where I know by doing hard stuff, like the growth that happens taking place in that. But it amazes me how some people just never have like much physical activity growing up, and they don't know like, oh, if you hit that wall, but you can go past it, and once you do, it's like a whole new world kind of opens up. Yeah. But it's always curious to me how other people
I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Like looking at other people, because I go back and forth between, how much of it are you born with, and what, due to outside exposure, has kind of built that up. Because I think there are some things you're born with. I mean, listen, I'm not playing basketball anytime soon. Not the NBA level. Let's put it that way. So I think there's definitely things you're born with. However, you can build on things that you're good and not. But I struggle with that, because I go back and forth, because I see people that are good people and you think they've hit rock bottom, and then the floor drops more and then more. And I'm like, at what point are you in enough pain that you're then now going to make change?
Yeah.
And some people, they don't have that. I mean, look, if someone's jumping on this podcast, any book, obviously they're not those people. And I think that sometimes you look around, you say, okay, well maybe I'm that person that they're talking about. No. If you picked up the book, if you read it, if you hit play on the podcast, you're not.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what do you do from here?
Yep. It's funny. I heard a saying on that podcast the other day. They were saying even rock bottom has a little wiggle room, because like
it can be soft. Now.
Yeah, it's
always,
still a little bit
always rock.
Yeah, man. It could be. It's interesting.
It is nice. It's cushy. You can lay down, but it's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
And I even struggle with that still, like pursuing the personal development that I have. Like yesterday, I was on a 7-mile. We were talking about this. I was on a 7-mile trail run. It was hot, and I hadn't run that distance. I went 7 miles, and I hadn't run that far in a while, and my body was hurting, and I still struggle with like getting in that place where like I have to push past that point. So even though we now have the insight to do that, I do struggle with putting myself in those positions sometimes.
Well, I don't think it makes it easier. It just makes you aware of it.
That's all it does.
Yeah.
Because like my wife.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So during the go ruck, she goes, were you ever thinking about quitting? I'm like, yeah.
Every second.
7 times at least. She goes, really? I said, within 2 hours. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is not smart.
Yeah.
You're a smart person. This is not that. So I think that it's just like parents. They look around. They say, oh, well, wow, they're doing such a good job. No one really knows the inner struggles I have.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm too loud. No, we're all dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah.
However, some people push past, and some people use that to say, well, I'm a failure. I should just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because yeah, the same thing. It's like I say that like it's hard to understand, but then thinking back of like the 6-day race I just did 3 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm fucking done. Like knowing all that I know and that I'm doing it for a good cause and that this is blah blah blah. But yeah, man, there's always that little voice back there.
Yeah.
Your mind starts making agreements with you, and it's like, no.
So I don't know the little buttons to push, and we know each other pretty well. But you, that voice, it knows the exact button to push at the exact time.
Oh yeah.
And it is
It knows you oh so well.
so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I think this is a good first episode to kind of let everybody know what the podcast is going to be about. We have a lot of good topics coming up in the next few episodes. We're going to try and keep them short, around 20 to 30 minutes, just so it'll be a little bit easier for guys to
Just
tune in.
sprinkle a little goodness.
Just
Yeah.
just a little knowledge, a little experience, a little love on there, and we'll see if we can help some people out. So, guys, if you haven't, please subscribe, hit the like button, share this podcast. It's going to be a new podcast, so it's important that you do subscribe, share with your friends, give us some feedback if you have some topics you want us to cover. Please shoot us a DM, a message, or just leave a comment in the YouTube section, and we will get back to you. Guys, I want to thank you again for making the time to come out here and record some podcasts. I enjoy it, and I look forward to the other podcasts.
Love it. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.